Okay, so I'm way behind on this issue now because it has apparently already become old news before I could even react to it. But I have recently been made aware by several of you guys that I'm involved in YouTube drama with another content creator without even knowing there was drama. But apparently I am part of what made this particular content creator quit Hunt Showdown because I quote, fucked him over. I'm not gonna mention the content creator's name and I'm not gonna link the video. I just want to clear up a few things since I, first of all, don't think that I was in the wrong, at least not fully. And that second of all, there are several statements in his videos that I take issue with, namely because they either come across as what I can only interpret as intentionally misleading or exaggerations. Just to level the playing field here, let's start with the videos, the disagreements, and the comment issues that essentially started all of this. I had made a video about the current direction of Hunt Showdown a long time ago, and at that time, I stated several things that had changed for the worse over the years, and addressed Crytek's inability to salvage the game. He then made a video about Hunt Showdown and its community, where he indirectly referred to me by using my thumbnail from previously mentioned video, and in rough terms, essentially said that the community was overreacting. I then tried to write a comment response on that particular video of his, but couldn't. I then contacted him on Discord for the sole reason that I was unable to comment, and granted, it was a long comment, but I had tried to address most of the issues he had brought up in said videos, but for some reason, it just kept getting removed every time I posted it. Now, why I wasn't able to comment, I still don't know. But after trying to post that one comment on that particular video for an hour, not free as he says in this video, I simply gave up and decided to just turn the comment into a video response instead, which I then told him. He then states that he offered to post my comment as himself under his own video and then sign it as me, and that I declined to that, which is all true. But I honestly didn't think I would have to explain my reasoning as to why I didn't think that was a good idea, since I thought it would be pretty weird for a second party to announce my opinion through his account, on his own video, and his own channel. But perhaps I'm in the wrong here and I should have made it clear why I wasn't comfortable with that. I just assumed that was common sense, and that might have been my mistake. He then suggests that I purposely deleted my comment again and again to start all of this drama, which I don't even know what to say about that. I didn't, but that's apparently his conviction. Anyway, I released a video response, which led us to his community then berated me a little bit. Dude, it wasn't just my community engaging with that video. You're on the internet, posting your opinion. That is automatically going to open up your content to interpretation, and after that, criticism. Now, this is only my opinion and personal experience, but from my perspective, generally, you get back the energy that you project. If you're a chill guy, if you're cool, if you're cordial with people, then people usually reciprocate that behavior back towards you. However, if you're brash, grandstanding, and rude, then that is usually how people are going to reply to you in turn as well. Now, are there assholes within my community? Of course. There's always going to be people who can't offer their opinions in a normal and respectful manner, but that is far from the majority of them, not even close. And I saw a multitude of people who were willing to discuss their opinions in a reasonable manner within your comment section. However, and this was also a point I made in the video response itself, your opinion is not wrong. You have the right to believe whatever you want, but how you express yourself generally, and as you did express yourself in that video as well, could definitely be interpreted as rude and condescending, so you can't be surprised when some people respond in a similar manner. I guarantee you that if your video had been worded less grandstanding, then the response from a part of the community would have been much more positive as well. But moving on. He got what he wanted out of me, views and controversy. Alright, so this is my primary issue with this video as a whole, which ties into the next issue as well, because it all makes zero sense. I'm just gonna start off here by underlining that at the beginning of all of this, I posted these videos just as thoughts and concerns that I had been harboring for months, if not years. It was complaints that I had seen the community voice over a long time, which I then made into a short essay by myself, voicing my opinion on my channel, sharing my opinion about the game and Crytek with my community. It was you who inserted yourself into this conversation that I was essentially having with a large part of the community. It was a part of the community that had grown disgruntled with Crytek's approach over a long period of time. I didn't mention you, I didn't ask you to comment on anything. It was you who decided to use my thumbnail in your video and then by proxy telling me that I was part of an ungrateful community and that Hunt was quote, fine. It was you who made a response to my opinion and therefore opening up your own opinion to response as well. You placed yourself in the middle of all of this. So if anyone was looking for controversy here, it was you. He then also states, I continue to support him even though he didn't agree with me, referring to how he shared my video within his community, etc. But the way he frames this segment in his video makes it sound like I didn't support him in turn. Yet it would take only 2 minutes of research to show that I literally supported him in the exact same way. I mean, he is mentioned in the very title of the video response I did. It was a mutual and ongoing conversation, which then leads me to the podcast. Because, yes, I did agree to participate in your podcast. Honestly, I was quite excited to get in on it and discuss our differences of opinions on Showdown, Crytek, and the general approach and direction of the company and game as a whole. I thought that could have been a great conversation because at that point, I respected that you were so adamant about your opinions and so certain in your persuasion. I personally like opposing views. I think they're interesting to engage with. However, and here we come to the core issue. Not long after this whole video response thing, I was on another podcast, and while I was on that podcast, at the end, after wrapping up, when we were just sitting around talking random nonsense, one of the guys there mentioned that you had uploaded a new video. We then proceeded to watch that video as a group, and honestly, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I thought the video was a piss take as a whole. I thought you were being sarcastic throughout that entire video, and I was constantly waiting for a gotcha, but it never came, because in that video, you seemed a completely different person. In the span of less than a month, you had managed to do a complete 180 on almost all of your opinions on Hunt Showdown and Crytek. Everything I had said in my previous videos, the videos that you disagreed with, you were suddenly agreeing with. In less than a month, you went from Hunt is fine, the community's overreacting, you people are gatekeeping, Crytek is doing their best, to Hunt is dog shit, Crytek is imploding, the game is hot garbage. And honestly, that was what broke the camel's back for me. Because here's the thing, at least for me, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. Nothing. However, it is how you handle being wrong that is immensely important. But you just suddenly turning around and pretending that all of these issues that the community had been talking about for years, plus the terrible launch that was that of 1896, all of which that you had fiercely defended in your previous video, now you suddenly reach clarity and agree with all of us? From one video to another? A guy who was completely opposed to my opinion, suddenly within a week of our initial discussion, sees clearly, realizing all of the mistakes that the rest of us had been complaining about for years, when you prior to that stood on the complete opposite side of opinion? And you talked as if it was just obvious and it had always been like that, and now Crytek needed to step up and change something because they were alienating their community? Really? And I just want to emphasize here, my issue isn't that he changed his mind or opinion. People evolve, and that's healthy. My problem is that when he switched positions, he did it practically overnight without acknowledging the turnaround or the people he had previously criticized for holding that same view. He came out swinging as if he'd been on that side the whole time. That kind of reversal without reflection or accountability makes it hard to trust someone's sincerity. It feels more like they're chasing a narrative than standing for one. After that, I honestly saw you as a bit of a loose cannon in terms of emotion, a guy who is probably prone to outbursts, and I thought that it would probably become more of a headache than a joy to engage with you on a regular basis in the long run. And I have to say that the video you created in the aftermath confirms those suspicions as well. And that is why I did not pursue or entertain the idea of joining your podcast after that video. And hey, I'll be the first to admit it here. That was definitely a mistake on my part. I should have made it clear and upfront that I wasn't interested in engaging with you anymore, instead of not replying to you. That is definitely my fault. Nothing on you there at all. But that is why. So here at the end, I just want to address the fucked you over part. How? How exactly did I fuck you over? I don't owe you anything, and you don't owe me anything. You inserted yourself into the situation, you got a response, we had a conversation, and I decided to not further participate in that conversation. I didn't see us as compatible and chose to walk away. That is not betrayal, that is just preference. I don't see how any of this constitutes as fucking you over. But anyway, that's all I have to say on the matter. I'm out.